everyone, it's Aisling here. Today I'm going to be sharing some insightful tips and predictions for higher level Leaving Cert Maths 2025. For this video, we've worked with an expert teacher, so all of these predictions are based on years of experience and careful analysis of past exam paper trends. Having achieved over 580 points in the Leaving Cert myself, I understand how important it is to be aware of key topics for your Leaving Cert paper to set yourself up for success. So if you're starting to prepare for higher level Leaving Cert Maths, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Alongside these tips, I will also be mentioning lots of Studyclix resources to help you revise these topics. All of the resources will be linked in the description down below, so save yourself the hassle of trying to find them again and leave a like on this video so you can return to it easily. Just a disclaimer before we jump in, predictions can be a great tool for identifying which topics you might want to spend a bit of extra time on or study in greater depth, but I would never recommend studying only the predicted topics. The Leaving Cert papers can be unpredictable and are often influenced by a number of different factors, so I would always advise that you cover the basics of each topic first, and then if you have a little bit of extra time left over and want to return to the predicted topics, you can. Finally, I am not the SEC. These predictions are just an educated opinion, and your guess is as good as mine as to what will come up on the paper in June. And with that, let's get started. Today, I'm going to run you through the structure of the two Leaving Cert higher level maths papers and then share some predicted topics for each. Alongside this, I'll be mentioning some Studyclix resources you can use to help revise these key topics. Leaving Cert higher level maths is examined across two 2.5 hour long papers. Each paper is broken down into short questions in section A, concepts and skills, and long questions in section B, context and applications. In section A, there is 6 30-mark questions, of which you must do 5, and in section B, there will be 50-mark questions, in which you must do 3. We recommend that you half the marks of each question to get the suggested time for completing that question. So for section A, each question should take you around 15 minutes, and for section B, each question should take you around 25 minutes. Both section A and section B are worth equal marks. There are certain topics which appear across the short and long questions on the paper each year. It is necessary for students to spend time revising these topics until they feel comfortable answering an exam question on them. Practicing exam questions is key for setting yourself up for success in higher level maths. If you find an exam question tricky, don't worry, this is completely normal. It will take time and practice to wrap your head around most of the concepts in Leaving Cert high level maths. To help with this, Studyclix has created solution videos for all state exam paper questions going back to 2016 and even for some mock paper questions. So if you get stuck, be sure to check these out. For paper 1, algebra, functions and calculus all appear frequently throughout the exam. These topics go hand in hand, and if you revise them, it will stand to you. While they appear in the short questions, they make for very nice long questions which are often repetitive in style. However, these topics are very big and often have specific methods associated with them, so be sure to revise them thoroughly. Algebra is all about recognizing what the question is asking you to do and knowing how to complete the relevant steps. This year, I would focus on solving simultaneous equations, the factor theorem, long division and algebraic fractions, solving cubic equations and sketching polynomials, working with rational, quadratic and modulus inequalities, and working with and solving quadratic equations. Calculus is probably the biggest topic on paper 1. The main things to focus on with differentiation are the key skills around derivatives, maximization and minimization, increasing and decreasing functions, and rates of change. Students should be comfortable with differentiating functions using the general rule, the product rule, the chain rule, and the quotient rule, differentiation by first principles, evaluating derivatives at a point and understanding its meaning, finding the slope and the equation of tangent lines, finding where a function is increasing and decreasing and also being able to prove this, finding the coordinates of the maximum and the minimum turning point of a function and also the points of inflection, working with maximization and minimization problems, and also dealing with rates of change. Integration is focused on finding integrals, averages, areas, and rates of change. Students should know how to apply the basic skills of integrating different functions, work out definite integrals, be able to find the area between a function and the x-axis, the y-axis, and a different function, calculate the average value of a function over a given interval, understand how integration relates to rates of change of displacement, velocity, and acceleration of functions. There are very clear buzzwords associated with calculus. Mastering the skills alongside practicing exam questions to familiarize yourself with the language of them is super important. Make sure to use the Mark as Done feature on Studyclix to keep track of the exam questions you have completed and what's left for you to do. We are due a long question on sequences and series for paper 1, so don't overlook it. This year, I would recommend that you revise finding and using the Tn and Sn formula for arithmetic and geometric sequences and series, finding the Tn formula for quadratic sequences, and proving that a sequence is arithmetic, geometric, quadratic, or cubic. Don't forget that complex numbers, induction, financial maths, area and volume, and functions and logs are all also examinable topics for paper 1. Don't neglect these topics and be sure to practice exam paper questions on them. If you want to quickly revise some of these topics, be sure to check out Studyclix's Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths quizzes for some extra practice. All of our quizzes are based on past exam paper questions and are a great way to test your knowledge and track your progress in any of these topics. Moving on to paper 2, probability, statistics, and trigonometry are the big three when it comes to this paper. They all appear frequently in both the short and long questions, so be sure to spend time revising them. While probability is a dense topic, the skills here are easy to master, and with practice, it's easy to spot what is asked of you in these questions. Students should be able to identify the different aspects of probability, work with and/or rules, construct and use tree diagrams, calculate permutations and combinations, recognize and apply the binomial theorem, calculate conditional probabilities, use the general probability formula, and use the formulae for independent and mutually exclusive events. Statistics is one topic that is guaranteed to be nice each year. Its main areas of z-scores and inferential statistics are extremely repetitive and make for excellent long and short questions. But beware that there is bound to be one aspect of these questions which is challenging or unfamiliar on the exam. If you encounter one of these challenging questions while you're revising and want to go through it with your teacher, I recommend you use the collections feature to add these questions to a group or a collection to be able to easily revisit them later. It's also possible to share your collections with your friends if you want to revise together. Students should spend time revising how to calculate basic summary statistics such as mean, mode, median, range, standard deviation, and the interquartile range. Use a calculator to find correlation and the equation of the line of best fit. Find probabilities using z-scores and work backwards using z-scores. Apply the empirical rule and calculate confidence intervals for both means and proportions. Conduct hypothesis tests for both means and proportions and calculate test statistics and p-values. Trigonometry is generally a topic where students perform well and can pick up marks in paper 2. Working with triangles and trigonometric functions is unavoidable for paper 2 prep, but the good news is that there is only a few formulas to remember and the functions theory is pretty straightforward. For trigonometry, students should be able to use sin, cos, and tan and Pythagoras' theorem on right-angled triangles, find missing sides and angles of non-right-angled triangles, and use the sine and cosine rules, calculate the area of triangles and understand the shape and nature of trigonometric functions, find the period and range of trigonometric functions and sketch their graphs. It is possible that a question on trigonometric functions could appear on either paper 1 or paper 2, so students should spend time revising this topic. Remember, coordinate geometry of the line, of the circle, and geometry are all also examinable on paper 2, so students should not neglect these topics. Students should be able to apply the theorems of geometry to situations involving circles, triangles, and parallel lines, and prove that triangles are congruent or similar. Specifically, students should learn off the mandatory proofs, theorems 11 to 13, and the mandatory constructions 16 to 22. Studyclix has created a series of tutorials on how to do all of the constructions for Leaving Cert High Level Maths, which is available on Studyclix for free, so make sure to check that out. We've also created a checklist for the constructions, which we've linked below. Those are all of our predictions for Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths. If you want help with revising any of the topics already mentioned, be sure to check out Studyclix Maths Boost, which has everything you need to succeed. It includes bite-sized video tutorials on all of the topics for Leaving Cert Maths, focused exercises to test your knowledge and track your progress, and at $49.99 it has everything you need for less than the cost of a single grind. Get the Maths Boost add-on today at studyclix.ie/boosts to make maths revision easier. My final piece of advice is that those looking for a top grade must leave no topic unstudied. The long questions often combine topics together, so you need to cover them all to make sure that you can perform well in the exam. And with that, those are all of my tips and predictions for Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths 2025. Remember that these are only predictions and not facts, so be sure to cover the basics of all of the topics. Happy studying and make sure to subscribe for more prediction videos coming soon.